Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 33-year veteran of comic science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And my office looks a little pigsty right now, and I apologize. But it's Monday, and it's time for Monday Manga, and we've been talking about the hit series Kaiju number 8. We're about halfway through the series. We're going to be talking about volumes 8 and 9 here shortly. This is going to be a little bit of a shortened week for the channel. I'm not doing a Thursday or Friday show this week because my co-hosts aren't going to be available to do reviews due to the Thanksgiving holiday. But we will have a Tuesday night show, and we'll have guests for that show. So we'll get more into that a little bit later. But let's talk about Kaiju number 8, volume 8 and 9. Publisher Shonen Jump, Viz Media, created by Naoya Matsumoto, U.S. translation by David Evelyn. Art touch-up and lettering for the English edition, Brandon Bovia. Designed by Jimmy Pressler, edited by Carla Clark. Genre, Kaiju Super Battle / Science Fiction. These volumes were released respectively on October 10th, 2023 and January 2nd, 2024. What it's about. In volume 8 of the series, Kafka sort of slips into the background as Matsumoto focuses on the characters Rino and Ichikawa, who are training to use the Kaiju number 6 monster suit and team up to fight a Hanja Kaiju. But of course, after the mission is completed, we do return to Kafka and his insecurities, and it's a practice combat session with Vice Captain Hoshina, giving him the pep talk while kicking Kafka's rear end that delivers the assurance to him that, sorry, my phone was going off there, his friends and co-workers are still supportive of him. In volume 9, it's still about Kafka. I'm worried about how everybody's else on his team in the defense force has upgraded their weapons and trained and improved their skill sets while he still struggles with controlling the monster within. With Kaiju number 9 merging with the former not the former captain, the former head of the defense forces, Kiroku's father, in volume 7. Their combined power and prowess makes the biggest threat in the series thus far. And with volume 8 ending with Kafka deciding he needs to train more to rise to the level of his peers, this volume immediately goes into detail on how hard he's been training. The new leader of the team, Shoshiro Hoshina, isn't to be taken lightly, and his mentorship reminds readers just how skillful he is. Meanwhile, we see other characters strive to achieve new limits throughout the volume. Kafka has been training several of his peers have also made significant combat and skill-based improvements, and are going to have to if they plan to survive Kaiju number 9's inevitable attack. What did I think? These two volumes are fairly quick paced while still setting a tone of the calm before the storm. So we know something major is coming. All the characters need to go through their paces and build their power levels. And it is nice how Matsumoto presents it. So many lesser writers would just pull out power and combat skill improvements out of their asses in other manga and never demonstrate how or when the character's powers and abilities evolved. That's what's basically what these two whole volumes are, though. Did it really need to take up 375 pages of story? Well, in some respects, yes, because the author really did need to reestablish the rest of the characters of the team and demonstrate their evolution alongside Kafka. It cannot just be the daughter of General Shinoshima. That's who I meant as the leader, not the captain, the general. Kakuro, it can't just be her. It has to be all the other team members as well. And I think by doing this, the author also afforded himself the opportunity to create the B-side spin-off series, because while you're seeing them train, you don't really get to see them fight on their own, and that's what the B-sides storylines are doing, more or less. But at the same time, because it takes 375 pages and 2 volumes to get through all this, it does kind of lull the reader everything is moving at a pace of events that you may feel like things are moving too fast, but also not fast enough because you're still waiting for the penny to drop. They sort of tease it at the end of Volume 9 as Hoshina is training with a new suit using Kaiju number 10, and they aren't syncing like they should be because the Kaiju won't behave, more or less. But they leave you in the lurch waiting to see what happens as Hoshina and 10 finally agree to sync up with their psychic. Whatever, their mind link, whatever. Now, it's a good thing I bought these and did not read them as they were coming out, having to wait months in between volumes. It would have made me want to quit the series, having to wait for each volume one at a time. Being able to sit and just read through 2 at a time per week has been a good pace for me. It's not that the books are bad, it's just because they're actually quite good. I'm just kind of it's easier just to read it all in one fell swoop, I guess, for me than keep buying and keep buying and keep buying and waiting for the next chapter. Now, I'm told there's also an anime series, and I've been asked that I and the other 2 co-hosts on the show review that on the Friday show. I'm a little reluctant to do that because neither Chris nor John really have the time or interest to watch a whole bunch of episodes of a series, but I will discuss that possibility with them for season 6. No promises. Now, let's take a look at some of these real quick. Of course, there's the Volume 8, nice cover. Somebody got mad at me. You can see that. It says, Raimi! I had to share that. But anyway, yeah, just, relatively well done pieces. Sorry about that. My dad's downstairs trying to do the dishes, and I don't know if you heard the clunking. and the 2 guys, Reno and Kachishi, or how it is, they're kind of like pairing up using the same suit, trying to beat this monster. How the role that here was never mine to take on, not being good enough or whatever. And they finally break through the system. And then he's got the gun here, and gee, what kind of range of weapon is that? But goes through him and explodes out the back of it. So, they do a lot of stuff like that. They're arguing over who has the chi and the personality and everything to handle the suits and whether or not you can use other weapons or all kinds of things. So, quite interesting as they go with it. And here's number 9, where the Hoshina has merged with number 10. And it gets pretty wild. There's Kaiju 10 saying, "Let me run amok. I want to play. I want to play. I want to go out and fight some bad boys." So they go out to this. He goes out there and he goes, "Why can this suit talk to me? It's driving me crazy." And the reason is because they didn't know how to make it be quiet. Kaiju number 10 is too strong. Now they're out in the city and there's all these monsters they have to fight. And you see his little suit there. He's just there. And he's like, "Hey, let's have fun. Let's go tear up some kaiju." And he's like, "No, we can't do this." And it's literally the human wants to go left and the kaiju monster they've merged to wants to go right, and they just go blip and freeze and get their butts kicked as a result. Let's go left, let's go right. Spring. That's what happens. The kaiju tail like holds him in place, and he gets kicked. He just gets his butt kicked. Wow. But first, until the kaiju figures it out that, oh, and then they got a plane that he's going to get dumped on his head by one of the other monsters. He finally allows himself to let the creature kind of like do things his way, but they're going to have to figure out a way to merge otherwise. But by letting Kaiju 10 in to control him, where does that lead story? So that's going to be what's going on next issue. So that is the fun we're having with it. And now I'll give these 2 a 4 out of 5. These were better episodes than or issues than the last week's, because you're dealing with other characters other than Kafka, and you're dealing with other characters than Kiroku. Not that I don't like Kafka and Kiroku, but it was kind of like a whole volume dedicated to Kiroku, and then it's like, what's going on? What is the story really about? So now that he's trying to balance all the storylines with all the different characters a little more, I think that's a lot better infrastructure for your story pacing. So hopefully that'll continue as the series progresses. Okay. So as I said, we're going to have a little bit different going on this week. Tomorrow will be our crowdfunding night, and we have a special guest, and that will be Ebony Toussaint. But first, I got to show next time. Okay. Next time is 10 and 11. As you can see, there's Kiroku with their battle axe. It's like 4 times the size of her. It's kind of laughing. And then here's the guy again with that pulse rifle with the dark energy going on. It's like it's quite the weapon there. But anyway, as I said, tomorrow we'll have crowdfunding and online comics talk, and our guest will be writer Ebony Toussaint. We'll be discussing her webtoons comic series Crash Cart, which is about hospital drama, and she is a professional nurse, and it's based on some of her experiences as a nurse. And we'll also be talking about her podcast and her public speaking that she does, promoting the fine art of comics, and not just comics, but children's books and other things at libraries and at other media events. Plus, we'll have another segment of What's in the Box. We have a couple of items that have come in the mail So we'll do a couple of unboxings as well. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. live, Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if Ebony's going to, I doubt that Ebony's going to be wearing her nurse's outfit that was worn for the holiday Christmas event. That photo was actually taken during the event, and we were both there. And I'm actually, I blacked out the background, but if I had shown the actual thing, I would have been sitting or standing behind her trying to get out of the way of the photo. We were in a kind of a cramped display area for everybody. But anyway, that's what we'll have on for tomorrow. And I don't know what all we're going to have for campaigns. We might have a few, but we're mostly going to be focusing on the webtoon side of things this week. Okay, folks, that's pretty much all we have for you tonight. So if you want to reach out to me on social media, Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter, or the X Muskrat channel at LewisBrightRaven2. See more of my artwork, deviantart.com/BrightRaven. We've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven exclusively on YouTube. Quoth the Raven, LBR72@gmail.com is the best way to reach me if you have questions, suggestions on things you want myself or the other reviewers to review, stuff like that. And if I don't get back to you on that channel, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. That's all for tonight. You guys have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Quoth the Raven, nevermore.